What are the pros and cons of living in Herriman, Utah? That is what I'm talking about today, so stay tuned. Hi, this is Melissa Ballman, and I'm a real estate agent here in the greater Salt Lake City area. So what that means, if you're looking at making a real estate move, I'd love to connect with you. Shoot me a text, send me an email, do what you got to do, but get in touch with me. But first, today, I want to talk about some of the pros and cons about living in Herriman, Utah. I get asked about Herriman a lot from people that are looking to relocate to the area. And so I thought I would do a video and kind of tell you some of the things to take into consideration if you're thinking about moving to Herriman. Now, you'll want to make sure you stay tuned to the end because I'm going to talk about a con that most people don't realize can happen in Herriman when you live there. So the top thing I hear from people that live in Herriman as a pro is lots of outdoor activities. You have parks, you have lots of trails for hiking, biking, walking. You have Black Ridge Reservoir out there for swimming in the summertime, and they have like a little playground there. So no matter where you live, there's either little community parks, you have the equestrian center out there that has a lot of events that happen. So lots of things to do that are outdoorsy. So one of the cons with living in Herriman is it is growing a ton. There is so much being built from industrial type, commercial buildings, and lots of residential homes. So with all that growth comes congestion. And so it's not uncommon to hit traffic and be stuck at lights for multiple lights. And just really, you got to be patient when you're in Herriman, especially in prime time traffic, commuting times, Saturdays pretty much all day. So just be prepared for the congestion that comes with the growth that they are seeing. I can remember when I moved to Utah in 2002, we had to return our moving van to Herriman, and you'll see it in this video. I pass it, but that storage unit where we returned it, it seemed like it was forever far away from Draper. And actually, this was a dirt road that was going down 134th South back 20 years ago. So it felt literally like we were in the middle of nowhere, and it took forever. Lots of farm fields that were out in Herriman are now gone. Now, one of the things I love about Herriman is you have amazing views looking west to east of the mountains. And depending on where you're at in Herriman, you even get some really good mountain views looking west. So you really can't beat looking out at the mountains and just kind of seeing, depending on how far up on the bench you are in Herriman, you can sometimes see all the way to downtown Salt Lake City. So really good views in Herriman. So with all of that growth that is happening, another con, and this is probably the biggest complaint I have about Herriman, is the east to west traffic is horrific. The infrastructure just doesn't seem very well thought out or planned or whatever it is. But you really only have two main streets going east to west in Herriman. Now going north to south, you have a lot more options, and like you have Mountain View Corridor that really picks up the pace of traffic. You have Bangerter Highway. So it doesn't seem so bad, but when you're talking at commuting times going east to west or west to east, depending on if it's morning or afternoon, you need to plan on a lot of extra time. And when I say a lot, I mean like 15 minutes easily for that west to east traffic, because the infrastructure, like I said, it just doesn't seem like it's there. This video that I'm going to show you, I took at 8:30 in the morning on a Thursday morning, And this is leaving Draper heading out to Herriman. And you can see the line of traffic of cars coming from the west to get onto Interstate 15 North to commute to work. And for 8:30 in the morning, that line is pretty good. But if you really go around 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:30, it's even longer and worse. And they jam up that intersection there at Bangor and 15. I'm also going to cut to the video I took heading out to Herriman and kind of explain that evening traffic. So in evening traffic, it's not unusual for this to all be backed up to go on the 134th turn to go left into Herriman. And this is about a mile worth of stretch of Bangor that can be backed up in the evening and add a good 12 to 15 minutes to your commute. So you can see here, this is 2 lanes to turn left and head west out into Herriman. And this is the 134th South that I mentioned. That's one of 2 main streets. So kind of like what I was telling you about, it used to be the middle of nowhere when I moved here. Well, you can still find horse property and large lots in Herriman. And that's a big attraction for people who are either horse lovers and need the land for their horses, or they want to build detached garages, which is very popular here, or they're wanting to build a swimming pool. Having that big lot and having acreage and horse property is a real plus for people. Now, not all of the homes in Herriman are that way, but you still see quite a bit, as you'll see in this video that I'm showing while I'm talking. So with that big property, you tend to have big houses in Herriman, and it's not unusual to see 4, 5, 6, 7,000 square foot houses in Herriman, depending on where you go. I hope you're enjoying my video so far today. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell. That way you're alerted each week when I drop a new video. And if you're on Facebook, hop on over to our private community group called Salt Lake Life. And there we talk about all things living in the greater Salt Lake City area. Okay, so one thing people do not realize about Herriman, when I'm talking about all of the traffic and everything, there is a master planned community, and it has been revised a couple of times, and it's getting stalled and things like that. But last I heard, it was revised and still pushing forward, and that is Olympia Hills. Now, with the revisions that are coming, they were saying they expected the population to grow by about 60,000 people out in Herriman. So when you take what I'm saying as far as the traffic and the congestion and not really good infrastructure heading east to west, and compound that by another 60,000 people, you can imagine what kind of nightmare that could create for people. Now, with the Olympia Hills project, they're saying it's going to be a master planned mixed use community. So it's going to have residential, it's going to have businesses, it's going to have open space. And everything says that the infrastructure is going to be there and it's not going to impact traffic because they have solutions. That's to be foreseen. Now, Olympia Hills is supposed to be in 4 different phases, and it's supposed to be starting now and building through the year 2045. Now, with the changes that took place, they were originally planning on about 9,876 units for living, and they have reduced that down to 6,330 units. Either way, it is a master planned community, and kind of with the idea of what daybreak is. So if you are considering a move to Herriman, be prepared for that. A lot of people don't realize that that is in the works. and it is planned for right about 7,800 South. And I'll throw a picture up for you from the Olympia Hills project.com, which is where I got the information, but it's a large area, as you can see on the map, of what it's going to entail and how much room it's going to take up. So because Herriman's a large city, it also comes with the fact that you have a wide range of homes. You have apartments for rent out there, condos, townhouses, single family homes. And right now, as of today, on the active market and what is for sale, you have price ranges from about $450,000 up to about $1.8 million. So a wide range and price fluctuation depending on what price range you're in, you can typically find in Herriman. So with those big houses comes the con of what is the average sales price in Herriman. So in March of 2022, pulling the numbers from the MLS, and everything may not be quite finalized yet because we're just barely in April, but the average sales price in Herriman, no matter whether it was a condo, townhouse, single family home, was almost $601,000. It came in at $600,904 for the average sales price in Herriman. Now, because of the population growth, there are a lot of businesses, restaurants, shopping, things moving into the area or already in the area. And that makes it nice and convenient for people living in Herriman. It used to be that there was like one grocery store in Herriman, and that was the Smith's way out off 134th South. But now they have like our local Harmon's grocery store. They have gyms. They have beautiful gyms. They have places to eat more kind of like fast food style, like Zupas and things like that. So it is very convenient now, whereas even 7 to 10 years ago, living in Herriman, it felt like you always had to commute somewhere to go shopping and get things done, everyday things that we need for life. Okay, and finally, the biggest con people may not realize about living in Herriman is you are right along the mountain range, and it is not unusual to have wildfires on those mountains. As you can see in the video, like they are building houses right there next to the mountain. I can't remember the last time they did have a wildfire, and usually they're pretty small and contained, and they get to them very, very quickly usually. They don't quite grow as big as what you would see, say, in Saratoga Springs area, but you do need to be aware of that wildfires and mountains, you get the point. It is possible. I know there was one, I think it was about 7 or 8 years ago. It was a pretty good size one out on the mountains. So just be prepared for that. If you live along that bench where you're kind of at the cutoff of where homes are being built and the mountain, know that wildfires are possible. I hope you enjoyed my video today. If you have any real estate related questions or about relocating to the area, I'd love to connect with you. I'm always here to help. Get a hold of me however you need to, but as always, make it a great day.